Alright, so let's get started here. I'll start at the beginning. I went online and I searched for a character set, like a character, what's called a character sheet. And there's tons of character sheets out there. They show the front, back, and side of a character. I grabbed this Augur. I just hit a print screen on my keyboard. And I went into Photoshop and I created a new file. And I said just make one off the clipboard. So I created that. Then I pasted it in. And then I made an image size. I changed my canvas size to pixels and 512 by 512 because computers love numbers that are divisible by 8. And then I proceeded to sort of move this guy around. I made another copy by dragging him down to this copy here. I'm going to drag a couple copies. So there he is in the middle. There he is. You know, move this other guy over here. And so what you do is you try to find him so he's in the middle. And the way you do that is you go to these things on the edge called rulers and you drag them out and it snaps to the middle. Snaps to the middle. And from there you can grab your character, move him into position, grab this character, grab this, make sure you're on the right layer when you move things, put him in there. I'm going to grab this line up here. If this isn't available, go to view, show rulers. See, they're gone. View, show rulers. Now they're back. So I put a line at the base of his foot, put a line at the top of his head. Now I'm going to hide this one and this one. I'm going to turn this one back on. Make sure, oh good, he's lined up there. So when I click this off and on, it looks pretty good. I'm going to delete these just because they're distracting. So on this one, hey, this guy, delete. This guy, delete. Over here to this side, delete. Go to this layer, delete, 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 delete. There we go. So anyway, so then I filled in the background color so the color matched. And you do that by choosing Paint Bucket, holding the Alt key, and you take a little dropper. And you see it chooses whatever color you have. I wanted to fill his belly. See this color down here is that color. If I choose the eyedropper holding Alt and I choose this background color, now it's this color. And when I was done with that, happy with that, I went to File, Save As, and I went to save PNG, and I saved them as Augur Front and Augur Side. Okay, and I saved that in the Fall 2017 Maya, 2017 Maya, Week 4 Character Source Images. Now, how did I know to do that? Well, I had all the files set up here in Maya. So I went to first, before I started this scene, we'll get to that in a minute, set project, and I made sure that I had a folder in here, and I created a new folder called Week 4 folder, and I said set, okay? Then I went to the project window, and if I hadn't created that new folder, I clicked on new, and then I typed in Maya Week 4 Character, and then I just had accept to make all of these folders, because look, there's source images, and that's where I just saved my Augur, right? I went to File, Save As, and Source Images, right? So it created all those folders for me, because those are the folders I'm going to use in Maya. Then I imported these images, and then I created a model. As you can see here, it started to, and it finished. But just roughing out the character, just get the basic shape, and then we'll put in the details and paint him later, but just to get the basic shape. So you guys get the idea. So let me start from the beginning here. Now that you've set up all your folders, new scene, and we're just going to throw this away. And bye-bye. So here we go. Also, to make my screen a little bigger, I got rid of all this stuff down here. So under UI elements, there was this time slider thing. I went to Windows, sorry, did I? No, yeah. Setting UI elements, and I said get rid of the time slider, and there's a couple others on there. I got rid of the range slider. I got rid of the command line. I'll keep the status line, because the status line is this thing right here. It shows you what's going on and where you're at, and if you can read it, it actually tells you what you're mousing over, which is kind of nice. And now I'm going to import those images. So I'm going to View, Image Plane, Import Image. And by the way, in the side and the front view only. And I know because my screen's so small, it's popping up here like I'm doing it in perspective, but I'm actually doing it in the side view. So View, Image Plane, Import Image. And hey, it knew where I was. This is side. I named Augur side, Augur side. And there he is, very small, but you know, we'll zoom in. And over here in the front, I'll say View, Image Plane, Import Image, Augur front. And there he is. And of course, this one top doesn't matter for now. And this can be kind of annoying how you can't see through it, but also can be nice because you don't have to see through it. It depends on how you want to set it. This is just one of many ways to do this. This is not the be-all, end-all, but this is the way we're doing it today. So then I want to model the Augur. And so I just go to polygons and I create a cube. Okay, and there he is, and I'm done. That's it. You know, use your imagination. That looks close enough to an Augur. I'm just joking. All right, so we are going to select the face, and you may not know this, but all of your characters are actually hollow in video games. So let's make him hollow. So I'll delete this face and just select it. I went right click face. It chose this face. I hit delete, and now you see it's kind of well, empty. Then in this front view, I'm going to choose actually vertex. And oh, be careful when you choose this. It thinks you're working on the image plane. Don't worry about that. You have to actually click the actual box. Go to vertex. I'm going to grab these 4 vertici. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertexes. And I'm going to select all of them at once. And then I'm going to slide them over and try to center them. But oh, that's so hard. So instead, I'm going to hold the X key. And if you notice the X key, if you notice up here, look. This little magnet with this grid, that is the snap to grids, right? And if you want to know more about snap to grids, you can click on help and it'll show you all about it in the Autodesk Learning Center. So very helpful, but we don't need to know that. There's snap to curve, snap to V, there's all kinds of snaps. Just know that if you hold X, you can snap to grid, okay? So if I hold X in here and I use this yellow arrow, which is actually in the X, it snaps right to the middle. And what I'm going to do is only build half a character and then mirror that character over here, because why do I need to make 2 arms? It's a computer, it likes to duplicate things, and that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to grab this guy, okay, then I'm going to turn him around and I'm going to select this face and I'm going to extrude him up, straight up. Now, obviously, oops, I missed the edge of his belly. We'll get to that later. This is rough. This is very rough. Okay, up to here, maybe about halfway up his belly, because if you notice here, I can scale him out for a big fat belly. And maybe I can, I'm not going to scale him out this way. I'm just going to scale him this way, because I want to keep this line nice and straight up and down. And I'm going to click extrude again, extrude right here. Pull him up to the top of his big fat belly, and maybe this time I'll push his belly back in a little bit, maybe move him back just a little bit. You see, you got to work on the front and sides here. Then I'm going to click on this again, and you know what, this is kind of getting boring going up and clicking there. The nice thing about Maya is you can actually use the letter G to duplicate what you just did. Fun story, huh? Use the letter G. And notice here, I'm keeping this straight. I'm only working in this side view, scaling things around. And it's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be. But what right here, I'm going to make this is going to be the arm, okay? So now I'm going to choose this face, and I'm going to select this extrude. And I'm just going to squeeze this arm in a little bit, and squeeze this arm in a little bit, right? Because his arm isn't that big. About there. Then I'm going to go to extrude again right here, and I'm going to pull his arm out. And of course, I know what you're thinking. Wait, Jack, that's the wrong direction. And you're right, it is. So let's turn him so he's facing down, and I'm going to move him a little in here. And I know you can see it's kind of hard to tell. Well, we can move him forward. There we go. And the arm is not quite big enough, right? So let's make that arm a little bigger. And I know you're thinking, what the hell's going on here? Don't worry about it. We can always tweak it a little bit later. And then I'm going to extrude it again, pulling the arm down about halfway down that bicep. And I'm going to make that bicep just a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to extrude it again, make it a little bit smaller, then extrude it again, make it a little bit bigger, then extrude it again, make it a little bit smaller, and it looks like, I'm gonna have to turn my arm a little bit, maybe a little bit down, like he's bending his wrist. And it's not perfect, I know it doesn't line up perfectly, but the whole idea is to then make a big old mutton chop kind of fist. And then I'm going to start working on the leg. So good enough for now. We're just generalizing here. So for this leg, click on this and go to extrude. And again, we're going to squeeze it down a little bit, squeeze it down a little bit, and pull it here, and then you see how this leg is a little bit turned, so we're going to preemptively turn it a little bit and then extrude it out. And I know it might look a little weird, you can always make it bigger and extrude this out. And by the way, we're going to have to come in and make a separate loincloth thing. So I'm using my imagination. I don't want to imagine this ogre naked, but I have to imagine him a little bit naked just for now. And squeeze him back in a little bit, move this over, and you see I'm going to pull this up and make this a little bit more leggish. And hit space bar to make it larger or smaller. I'm going to make maybe 2 here, so I can add a little bit of dimension to that knee. Pull it down here. And then again, and I'm going to pull it out for that nice big muscle leg thing, and then down here, and then back in a bit, right? And I'm going to turn this a little bit to flatten it out, and then I'm going to pull this down to the bottom of the foot, widen this out a little bit. Then I'm going to go and start to tweak it a little bit. Vertex, I'm going to grab this group of vertexes right here. I'm going to pull this up over here, pull this out over here, and I might pull this up over this a ways a little bit. And just try to straighten these out. The shoulder, not quite right, so I'm going to pull it up like that. And, you know, not perfect, but good enough for today. I'm going to grab these guys, maybe pull them down here a ways. And this guy, looks like I screwed up that arm, so I have to pull this over here. This guy could be a little bigger up here. There we go. And then now for the head. So quickly zoom out, zoom up, rotate around, find this weird spot. And I guess this is his neck. So let's go face, click that, click on extrude. And I'm gonna go in a little bit off the shoulders. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to go in a little bit this way because I can't extrude that way. So in a little bit off his neck, and then I'm going to extrude that up just a little bit, and then I'm going to extrude it again and go out for his enormous flipping head. Like a little bit like a so, and then again I'm going to go to the side view, and you can see it's already screwed up because I was using the top view and I told you guys not to do that, and pull it up to the top of his head. And then I'm going to grab this in the vertex mode, try to move this around a little bit and try to sort it out. But that should get you guys started. Don't do everything that I did here. There we go, down here, this guy's his head up there. Move this head over here, drag these guys, something like that. So you have the sloping forehead kind of thing going on. And that's just the start of it. Now, obviously, the back of these legs need to come in, the front of these legs need to come in, and you can start to edit around to figure out where things should go on this creature. And he is a marvelous, beautiful creature, isn't he? So there you go, just like a really basic. We'll get to the more nitty-gritty in a bit. But for now, I think that is enough for a startup. And just fast forward here, hit F8 to get out of this mode. You'll see that I screwed up here. So I'm going to have to grab this point, holding X, snap it over. Grab this point, holding X. Use my wireframe, this point, holding these 2 points, holding X, snap them over. And why am I being so nitpicky here? Because, oh, here's a nice tip. You can use the up and down arrows to walk up and down the polygons. So this polygon right here is a vertex, snap him. All right, almost looks right. So now when we're done, we grab this whole body and then we can mirror him right across. There you go. That should mirror him right across. And we have a pretty rough model. Oh, looks like my snapping snapped the back of his head to the front. I'll have to fix that later. So you can't see it, but it's there. There's a vertex right there I can't reach. Anyway, we'll fix that in a little bit. So that'll get you started.